please help us introduce Cynthia Abernethy.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Abernethy. I conduct estate sales, retirement sales, downsizing sales. I also do appraisals, eviction appraisals, and I referee fighting families over their parents' belongings for attorneys. So not everybody is familiar with what is an estate sale. But in a lot of cases it has to do with the real estate transaction. So sometimes you might find that you get a listing that has a lot of what I guess they now call granny furniture, or somebody's passed away and the style of the contents of the house are not going to lend itself to marketing the home effectively. So what we do is we come in, straighten everything up, display everything. We work with the realtor because the realtor will say, get rid of the washer, dryer, the refrigerator, or it should stay with the property. A lot of times you'll run into the situation where you may need an estate sale because someone's passed away. The family takes what they want. There's still a lot of stuff remaining in the house. So what we do is we liquidate the household contents. And that, it can be everything from antiques and art all the way down to food in the cabinets, pots and pans, glasses, books, records, even cars, tools, plants, pretty much everything. I don't know if any of you have been out on a call ever to a hoarder. Anyone kind of gone out to see a listing where they're a hoarder? Okay. Did you ever get the listing? You did? How'd you, yeah, most people that are hoarders go out of their house feet first. They will not let go of their stuff. So you go out on those kind of listings, good luck. I've only done estate sales for people that were hoarders that were either passed away or forced out of their house to go to an assisted living. So some of your clients, you may run into an elderly client that's overwhelmed, that doesn't have any help, that they need to sell their home, they no longer stay there. And we also do estate sales in those cases. They do not have to be deceased. My particular business, it runs about 50-50. Also, sometimes somebody is relocating across the country to another country. Oftentimes will not be moving a lot of their stuff, and so they could end up needing to have a large amount of their contents liquidated. There are unfortunately a lot of people getting into this business now that don't know what they're doing. There's somebody that's selling franchises with 5 days of training. I've been doing this 25 years. I've done almost 1,000 estate sales, and I still don't know everything. So you do want to be a little careful when you're hiring somebody. Make sure that they know what they're doing. I also have a lot of knowledge about antiques and collectibles. Unfortunately, right now, antiques are not worth too much because it's not the current decorating style, and you know, everybody watches HGTV and they expect the house to look like that, and I'm sure you as realtors run into that when trying to market a property, which is why staging's so popular now. Anyway, that's kind of, the process normally takes a week, where 1 week set up, have the sale on the weekend, and then have somebody remove the remainder of the stuff. So does anybody have any questions about how the process works? Oh, the normal commission is 1/3. So, and I pay the staffing. Normal commissions run, you know, the people in the business. I'm maybe a little bit at that, a little slightly on the low side. I do charge more if it's a real small sale. Sometimes people just need the help, but their sale's not going to gross enough at 1/3 to cover my staffing costs. So I just charge a higher commission so that if I have the time, I can still help them. So a lot of elderly people need to help, and I don't mind to do it if I have the time. But bad hoarder sales, I charge more for that too, because it just costs more in labor to set them up, so.
Do you have a website or an email list for people that to advertise when you're?
I have an email list with 4,300 people on it, and I think some people's she's on the list. And also, I got an email from your bookkeeper. She's on it too, but she couldn't be here today for the board.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. If I can take email addresses. I'm not here to try to like suck you into signing up, but if yeah, most of the time. I run them just off of my email list. And I said that's 4,300 people that signed up themselves that really want to be on the list. I do have signs that are just like your real estate signs. And I put those around the neighborhood. And sometimes I will also advertise on Craigslist, but sometimes that brings a little riff-raff, so it depends on the sale. If it's a little more upscale, I like to keep a control over my customers a little better, because a lot of times the houses are sold, they're nice, and I want to keep them, I want to keep control and keep everything nice and not have any, paint chips or, anything like that. So, but yeah, I don't have a website. I haven't needed one, but because I've been doing it so long, and at this point, I don't think I'm going to bother ever to get one, but that's it. Any more questions? Yes? No. As long as a person, like say somebody passed away, and they're the trustee, they legally are allowed. It would be the same as, when you're a realtor, you need to have the trustee or the person that's in charge to sign the listing. It's the same person that, as long as they show me, yeah, they're the trustee, we're good to go. Normal. I have not run into that. Normally for this, it's not, well, I've never had one in probate. I have had to go to court and testify. Yeah, usually at the point where I'm brought in, it would have already been cleared, because in the big picture, the important thing is to sell the house. So I'm just a little part. And the big thing I tell people all the time, they get fixated on the stuff that's in the house. And I said, don't lose, the sale of your house, because, you're going to wait for 6 months to, fool around with, a few $1,000s worth of stuff. But by the time I'm involved, it's usually all cleared up. So I do work for attorneys and court-appointed conservators and in all of that too. So, but by the time they call me, the paperwork's, the fighting's over usually. Yeah, well, I try to, do people get better deals at the estate sales? People are not going to come and line up on a Saturday unless it's like they have to be motivated. So I price the stuff to sell. I do not have a store. I don't resell anything. I just want to make the money. I want to get the house cleared so that the realtor can finish and do their job and, get the house sold for the client. So most people tell me I do have good prices. So anybody? Yes?
What do you do with the product that's left over?
I have a guy that owns a for-profit thrift shop. I tell my client to rent a little dumpster, and he comes, he'll load one dumpster, no charge, and take everything else that someone else can use away. Usually happens the same day as the estate sale. On Sunday, empty house. So.
Well, can you donate that to the thing in the fall, or?
If you can find a charity that'll come and pack all that stuff up and without, screwing up and stuff, let me know about them. I looked for 20 years, never could find a charity that would do it. So I basically give this guy the key. He brings his boxes, his crew, his trucks, packs it up, gone. But there aren't any charities that'll do that. They're picky. Old TVs are starting to be a problem. Yeah, they don't Unfortunately, I have looked. I would prefer charity, but, okay, anybody else? Yes? Oh, it's eviction appraisal. I go out, sometimes a landlord will have somebody, they put somebody out and leave behind a bunch of junk, but they legally can't throw it away until it's been appraised by somebody who knows what they're doing. So, but if it's, somewhere less than, I think the cutoff $700, so, that way the landlord can't be sued. Because I have a little sheet of paper and I say that itemize kind of like what type of stuff they have, and I write a little thing and I hand it to them, and it protects them.
Is that done during that storage period or not?
No, it's done before, so you don't have to store it. The two that I've done recently, the stuff was just worthless. One of them, the guy was a smoker, and that pretty much renders anything in the house. If someone's a smoker, won't buy it. And then the other lady was a hoarder, and I had to walk up 18 inches of clothing on the ground in the kitchen to even, like walk into the kitchen and see what was there. But yeah, it's just, it would be a scenario where the stuff is pretty much worthless, but you have to have somebody who knows, an expert, evaluate it so that you don't get in trouble as a landlord. So, yes? Uh-huh. Well, there's a lot of worse ones, but I have some pictures on my iPad. If anyone's interested after the meeting, they can come and look. I went to go do kind of a casual appraisal for a friend of a friend. And they had a painting hanging over the sofa, and I told them the painting was worth probably more than everything else in the house combined. So I said, if you check with your brothers and sisters and see if they don't want it, I can handle the sale of it for you. And I sold it for $28,000 on eBay. So that's why it's good to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, because yeah, I did. I didn't charge them my normal commission because, I knew the item was probably going to sell for over $20,000, so I charged them a smaller commission on that. That was kind of a, like a side deal. I also did eventually do the whole estate sale, but sometimes fine art needs to be handled a very specific way. And shopping it around actually makes the value drop, so you have to kind of just put it on eBay without anybody seeing it or exposing it to the market. So anyway, that's probably the most valuable one thing. Yeah, I've seen like everything, hoarders, rats in the house, just disgusting stuff. So, but that's the way it goes. You guys all see it too as realtors. So, anybody else? Nope. Okay, I guess that would be. So we're about it. If anyone's interested, I do have some business cards and just a little thing that's even helpful for pretty much any client that tells you what is not worth hanging on to or trying to sell, that you can just recycle or throw away. So, thank you very much.